Today I wanted to talk about shame, the things that we go through and how they can paralyze us. The trick that the enemy wants to have when he puts us through stuff. What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? Welcome back to Endure, Believe, Rise. I hope this message reaches you in good energy. I hope you and your loved ones are in good health. So let's get into it. Quote of the day. That story is part of you. Ain't no shame in that. Don't hide your scars. Quentin. Song of the day. Battle Scars by CFO. So the thing is, in this life, things are going to happen to us. More importantly, we're going to go through those things. We wish we could go through them perfectly, if I can just be honest. Come out the other side smelling like roses. Go through a field of mines, have them all set off and not be changed by it in the least bit. Fight 100 tigers and bears and leave with no scars. This is what our imagination would conjure as a perfect victory. To flawlessly execute the enemy in competition and come out none the worst. Take no damage. These are the things that legends are made of. These are the stories that we love to repeat again and again. However, that's not often how things go. Too often we barely make it to the other side. Too often we have to be carried. Too often we are dragged across that finish line by ourselves or a higher power or a friend or some credo. Too often we come out less than we went in. And when we heal, and we do heal, when we recover and we do recover, we take a look in the mirror and we see scars, blemishes, evidence that for a moment, the enemy, the opposition, the obstacle, they have gotten the best of us. It's enough to make you want to cry, to make you want to quit, to put makeup on or disguise a mask to cover our battle scars. That is one of the tricks, the tactics of the enemy, to make us feel ashamed that we survived. If you talk to the men and women who come back from battle areas, combat in the military, there is such thing as survivor's guilt. If you talk to the people that live here in America, that come from urban areas that are infested with violence, there's such thing as survivor's guilt. It's a hard thing to go to combat with your brother and women in arms, be in the same situation and they are deceased and you are not. It's a hard thing to have to face their family, to have to face yourself, to constantly replay the situation in your head, to think, hey, what could I have done better? Same thing in the hood, right? In the barrio, in the ghetto, where you and a friend are in the same situation and they are no longer here, but you are. Survivor's guilt is a real thing. It is a trick from the enemy to make you feel ashamed. It tells you to keep that to yourself. It tells you don't say anything. Be quiet. Hide in the corner. Keep your hand low, your head down. Be quiet, and hopefully nobody will know that I almost killed you. I almost had you on my wall as a trophy. So how do we fight that? How do we combat that? How do we say that this is nothing to be ashamed of? by wearing those scars proudly, by letting the enemy know. It's something that was taught to me, and I wish I had the scripture right handily, and you have to forgive me because I don't. Agree with your enemy when you're in their presence. It's a tactic used to turn the tables in an argument. When the enemy says, I almost killed you, you say, you're right, you did. You almost had me. When the enemy says, you were almost on my wall as a trophy, you say, man, you're right. You almost had me. When the enemy says, I almost snuffed your life out, took your dream away from you, robbed your daughters or your sons, took your peace, I almost had you, you tell the enemy, you're right. You almost had me. But almost ain't good enough, playboy. You don't have me. You didn't have me. You won't have me. You see this scar here? That's the closest you'll ever get. That's the closest you ever get to a W on me. That's the closest you ever get to taking my throne. That's the closest you ever get to removing my head from my shoulders. You don't get any closer than that. You let the enemy know that you had your one shot. So now I'm going to take this gift that you've given me, and oh yes, it is a gift that they have given you. Now I will prepare every chance I get for you. I will meditate every chance for you. I will strategize. I will plan. I will organize for you. You have my undivided attention. And let me show you why that's a bad thing. You wanted the fire? Well, that's exactly what you're going to get. You called down the thunder? Now reap the whirlwind. These things that we've gone through, remember, we've gone through. We didn't stay there. We didn't get held down there. We didn't die there. We aren't still there. We gone through. You are victorious. And you have the battle scars. No. You have the receipts to prove it. So when that voice creeps in and tries to say, hey, you should be ashamed that you live, you tell them, I'm not. When that voice creeps in and says, hey, you should hang your head low, tell them, I'm not. This battle scar is a receipt that says, I went through that part of the story to earn this part of the story. I've paid for the presence that I have right now. And I have the battle scars. I have the receipts to prove it. All right, guys. I need you to take care of yourselves. Please, be kind to one another. Keep me in your prayers. I'll forever keep you in mind. Endure, believe, rise.